So after creating the server, let's proceed and create the client that is going to communicate to the server. First, to create a document for it, it will be a TCP echo client. Yeah, okay. So these are the steps going to be involved. So step number 1, we shall establish a connection. Step 2, set up input and output streams. Step 3, send and receive data. Communication all in all. Step 4, close the connection. Let's go into it. So already saw how we import the necessary packages. I'll first do it. Okay, so we are going to initiate we are going to define the main method. These steps so we're going to initiate a few variables. Sorry, we are going to define them, but we are going to mention them, not define. Okay, whatever it is that we first put without initiating them. We are going to use strings, of course, to communicate, and it will be a message and a response. Yeah. Since we are dealing with the client, that's why we need a response this time. So we shall need an integer form of a port. We shall set this to the port 2222. We are going to need a host. We're going to need to know the host we are going to connect to. We have the host, we have the string. What else are we missing? We are going to need a socket form of a link. We shall set this to null for now. Okay, let's get on with it now. So the first thing to do, actually, before we go any further, is initiate the host. And we shall need the host of this local machine, of course. Get localhost. But for your case, you can get any other kind of host you're trying to connect to, or you can even just set it to a string or a variable in form of an IP address. This will give us an exception which we must handle. Sorry, not an IO exception, it's unknown host. Unknown host exception. So we shall say, shall tell our user that what this host ID is invalid, or we couldn't find it, so couldn't find host ID. See if it can't find it, it should just stop. So we're going to need a method that is going to access the what? It is going to access the server, and we are going to define it from here. Let me zoom in a little bit. That stuff looks zoomed. Put this a bit there. Okay, better. Then we can call it here. Call the method. Okay. So we go here and we start now with our steps. We start following our steps. Step number 1, establishing a connection, set up input output streams, send and receive data through all in all communication, close the connection. So we get to it. Step number 1, establishing a connection to the server, and we already have our socket our socket object as link, so we shall use that. So just even try all the way. So we say link equals to, of course, socket. This will be a new socket, and this time instead of passing it only the port, we shall pass it both the host and the port at the same time. Okay, let us first handle any exceptions that will arise, or any errors, sorry. So we handle any exceptions that will arise, sorry, errors. So shall say print stack. Yeah, okay, let's get to it. This is our step number 1. Now step number 2, this time around, is set up input output streams. Yeah, and we already know how to do that using the scanner. Put it on the same line. And this is step number 2. Okay, we go to still step number 2 using the print writer to get the output streams. We can set the auto flash to true if necessary. Still step number 2. And in step number 2, still under setting up input output streams, we need to set up a keyboard entry so that the user can enter data, and we use a scanner for that. Still under step number 2. Okay, we're done. We go to the most favorite step, actually the reason as to why we all do it, the communication, or the sending and receiving of data. So since this is going to be the step number 3, the one for communication, we need to start the communication with since it's this client needs to put some data to send to the server. Enter data. Let me put my able designs here. Okay, after inputting the data, we shall store it in the string variable for message. Of course, this is user entry. The next line. Okay, this is step number 3. Let's not forget that. But we need this loop, this infinite loop, to stop immediately if in case the user types in that exit thing we already, the exit information. So this will be message. If the message has any string which is equals to the exit with a hyphen, yeah, then it shall stop. But without that, it shall continue. So now we need output the response. So this does, this sends the data, the user entry sends the data, then this one receives the output, receives the echo from the server. Still step 3 because it's our communication. Now the response will be equals to input with a new line. Still, this is step 3, communication. Okay, so we need to display this system.out. The server says this is its response. Still step 3. So we've already caught the exceptions. Now we need to go on to the final step, which is step number 4. And it says close the connection, so we close it, put it in a final close, try it, it's terminating. This is our step 4, but it begins from the closure. So we call the method close method. That is our step 4. And in case it refuses, we need to handle it. So be a termination error. In case it refuses, we force it. Okay, let's test this out. We shall run the server first. Let me first delete this because I already tested it. So yeah, it's trying to open the ports. So we come here and we also run the client. The client is running. Now let's see if I send a message. Let's say ubit 256. It sends it. Server says message 1 ubit 256. Of course, message has been received on the server side. Notifies you. Let's enter another message and see the account. Debugger. Of course, then also it counts it. Yeah, there you go. And that's how you can set up a TCP connection between a server and a client using Java. So yeah, before I forget, you have to like check if whenever we send the exit message to it, it terminates the connection between the TCP server. So this is our on the client side. We can see if it's still working. We send messages, they are counting. Okay, so we want it to close when we send it an exit with a hyphen, as stated earlier in our program. And there you have it. It closes the program, it terminates it. And let's check on the server side. Yes, it closes the connection, which means everything is working just fine. Thank you very much. Please subscribe to my channel. You can comment and let me know which kind of content you want me to be putting on my channel. Thank you very much.